God finally acts from his peaceful throne in the sixth seal by pouring out his wrath. We've seen in the book of Deuteronomy that the wrath of God doesn't describe God doing anything actively to hurt anyone. It describes when he hides his face and he withdraws in the face of apostasy, willful abandonment and forsaking God. And so he steps away, and then the evil powers will come and smash them because God's protective presence is God. It doesn't describe what God does. It describes what happens from evil sources, the wrath of God, when God releases his protective presence and removes it. Is this how the book of Revelation uses the phrase wrath of God? Absolutely. Positively. Let's focus now on the wrath of God in the 7 last plagues, because this is where the phrase will appear again. It will climax, the wrath of God will climax with the destruction of Babylon. And when God pours out his wrath onto Babylon in the 7th plague, does God actively assault Babylon in his wrath? Or are we going to read the same story that we just read with Moses in Deuteronomy 31? Let's dig in. Revelation 16:19. The great city Babylon was split into 3 parts. Who split it? And the cities of the nations fell. Who made the cities fall? And God remembered Babylon the Great to make her drain the cup of the wine of the fury of his wrath. Santa, God has just destroyed Babylon and made the cities fall. And he's poured out, drained out, emptied out his wrath. How can you say God is not the direct active agent of violence when it's so clear that it is? Not so fast. The destruction of Babylon in the 7th plague is described, further elaborated on, expanded, unpacked in chapter 17, 18 and half of chapter 19. So these 2.5 chapters are now going to fully explain what the wrath of God looks like in the book of Revelation. But it's clear here, God remembered Babylon and he made her drain the cup, the wine of the fury of his wrath. She gets the full blast, undiluted wrath of God. Did God actively split her into 3? Let's have a look. Chapter 17 picks up God's wrath onto Babylon and her destruction. First of all, who is Babylon? Notice the storyline and look what God does and doesn't do. Revelation 17:5 English Standard Version says this: on her forehead was written a name, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of prostitutes and of earth's abominations. So Babylon is described as a prostitute, a spiritual prostitute, and God pours out his wrath onto her. Does he directly assault her? 17:1. Then one of the 7 angels who had the 7 bowls, the plagues, came and said to me, Come, John, I will show you the judgment of the great prostitute Babylon, who is seated on many waters. So see, he's now backtracked. In 16:19, in the 7th plague, Babylon is destroyed, and now saying, Come, John, I'm going to show you how it happened. How God judged her. The judgment of the great prostitute, the wrath of God, the judgment, when she was split into 3. But God did it in the 7th plague. Hang on a minute. It's the wrath of God. We've already seen from Moses that it doesn't describe what God does. What happens when God withdraws. That's what the wrath of God is. And Revelation is going to say the same thing. 17:3. Babylon is powerful. And he carried me away in the spirit into a wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast that was full of blasphemous names, and it had 7 heads and 10 horns. Babylon sits on the beast, the Antichrist, which has 10 horns. What do these 10 horns represent? She's powerful. She's sitting on this beast with 10 horns. She's powerful. She's controlling them. What do the 10 horns represent? Get ready for it. 12 and 13. And the 10 horns that you saw are 10 kings. Well, 10 kings on the beast, the Antichrist, and Babylon rides her. She's in control of the political, military powers of planet Earth. And the 10 horns that you saw are 10 kings. Have not yet received royal power. They're not united. But they are to receive authority as kings for 1 hour, short period of time, with the beast. There will be a worldwide union of military political powers. These are of one mind, and they hand over their power and authority to the beast. So, Babylon is controlling the military, political powers of the earth right at the very end during the 7th plague, when the wrath of God is fully poured out. So we've got a union here between Babylon and the military, political powers on planet Earth, and she's riding them. It's a sexual metaphor. She's the mother of harlots. She's riding them. She's on top. She's sexually on top of them, and she's controlling them. What happens when they unite their military power? And we've got a global political military conglomeration, confederation. What happens then? She's riding them. Get ready for the wrath of God. 17:16. And the 10 horns that you saw, the 10 kings, they and the beast, united, who gave their power to the beast, they will hate the prostitute. What? They're going to turn on Babylon, who's controlling them? Yeah. And the 10 horns, the 10 kings that you saw, they and the beast will hate the prostitute. They will make her desolate. They will make her naked. They will devour her flesh, and they burn her up with fire. Who destroyed Babylon? Evil powers turned on themselves. What? This is the wrath of God in the book of Revelation. God says, wait to the martyred saints in 6:9-11. Wait, I will act. In the 6th seal, I will pour out my wrath. In the 7th plague, my wrath will come to culmination, climax, with Babylon, and I'll do nothing. Because as I withdraw my face, my protective presence is holding back evil. Evil's evil. It's twisted, it's demented. It wants to just kill itself. When God releases his wrath, he steps back. And they devour one another. The peaceful God, the God of the rainbow, does not destroy evil through an act of force. He knows that evil is so twisted, it will eventually turn on itself. And that's why God says to the martyred saints in 6:9-11, wait and see how I act on your persecutors. Evil will destroy itself when in my wrath I turn my face and I release my protective restraining power. They will eat themselves. Wow. As we move into the series of the trumpets and the plagues, we have to have this definition of the wrath of God fully in mind. It's being clearly defined. Not as God assaulting anyone, but when evil assaults evil, as God in his wrath turns his face and releases his protective presence that's holding back the evil powers of earth. He knows they're going to eat themselves, and we on planet Earth will see it happen. Oh my goodness, God. We thought you weren't doing anything, but you knew the knowledge of good and evil. You knew they would eat themselves, yes, but you didn't. But you didn't. And you needed to see this mess play out to the end, so it can be put to bed once and for all. We would never know about what evil is unless we see it play out. And we say, oh my goodness, God, you didn't do anything. He said, I didn't need to. All I need to do was withdraw my protective presence And then all hell breaks loose as evil destroys evil, as God in his wrath steps back. Keep that definition in mind as we go through the trumpets and the plagues. I will bring it up, but I've gone through it in detail now in 2 teachings. Keep this in mind. God bless you.